Have you ever felt like the things you do for God are just too small to make a difference? Like your contribution is just a tiny drop in a vast ocean? Well, today I want to share something truly encouraging from the words of Jesus himself that will completely change how you see those small beginnings. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 13, Jesus tells two short but powerful stories, or parables. First, he says, "The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed." Now, a mustard seed is incredibly tiny. We're talking just 1 or 2 millimeters across. It's one of the smallest seeds a farmer would handle. But when this tiny seed is planted, something amazing happens. It doesn't just grow into a small plant. It grows into the largest of garden plants, becoming a tree so big that birds can come and build their nests in its branches. It's interesting that Jesus chose the mustard plant. Back then, some rabbis actually considered it an unclean or undesirable plant because it was so invasive. It would grow aggressively and could take over a whole field, crowding out other crops. But that's exactly the point Jesus is making. He's showing that his kingdom, which started with a small, seemingly insignificant group of disciples in a corner of the Roman Empire, would grow into something huge, unstoppable, and world-changing. It would provide shelter and a home for people from all nations, just like the birds finding refuge in the tree. Right after this, Jesus tells another parable. He says the kingdom of heaven is like yeast. Imagine a woman getting ready to bake bread. She takes a huge amount of flour. The Bible mentions about 60 pounds, which is a massive quantity. To this enormous pile of flour, she adds just a tiny bit of yeast. And what happens? That small amount of yeast works its way silently, unseen, through the entire batch of dough, causing it all to rise and expand. Now, in many other parts of the Bible, yeast, or leaven, is actually used as a symbol for sin or corruption. During the Passover festival, Jewish families would meticulously clean their homes to remove every last trace of leaven, symbolizing the removal of sin from their lives. But here, Jesus flips that image on its head. He uses yeast to illustrate the pervasive, irresistible, and transformative power of his kingdom. It starts small, almost invisibly, but its influence spreads until it changes everything it touches. So, why did Jesus speak in these parables? But Jesus' parables promise us that when we offer our small acts of faith to him, he takes them and produces extraordinary, disproportionate growth. We don't cause the growth. The power isn't in the seed itself or in the yeast itself. The power is in God. Our job is simply to be faithful in the small things, to plant and to mix. We sow the seed, and God, by his grace, makes it grow into a mighty tree. We introduce the yeast, and God's Spirit works to transform hearts and lives from the inside out. So, let's stop underestimating the small things. Let's not be discouraged if we don't see immediate, massive results. Let's be encouraged to faithfully plant those small seeds of hope, truth, and love wherever we go, in our families, in our workplaces, in our communities. Let's thank God that he invites us to participate in the incredible, unstoppable growth of his kingdom. Your small act of faithfulness today could be the beginning of something more amazing than you could ever imagine. Thanks so much for watching. If this message encouraged you, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. Go out there and plant a seed this week. God bless.